Good afternoon, YouTube. It's man already George Page. Coming to you live on YouTube. I want to give a couple shout out to a couple of brothers who I follow on social media on YouTube, and they often talk about things that are relevant, especially things in sports and things going on in our community. Shout out to my man with the Watcher, and also to Abel Mahari at Abel Mahari Sports. Usually he'll probably do this. He should be doing this first before I did. But I know he's probably busy. He got a life. He got a job. Plus, he's TJ Brown's future ex-husband. But anyway, is that I'm as I'm doing working on my videos and putting things together, I saw this on social media, and this is something that just kind of shocked me a bit. But then there's also a little thing about this. I need to talk about this. Legendary basketball player Dominique Wilkins he tweeted that he was out and about. He went to a restaurant in Atlanta, and he's anybody know Dominique Wilkins, the highlight rim, the one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He's just a legend. And I grew up good part of the 80s and 90s. I was a big fan of Dominic. I mean, he's one of those great basketball players, one of those great guys who he has several records. He's an all-star game. He's an all-star champion records. And the thing is also, he's one of those guys that even though he's a legend, he never had that title on his belt. And that's the thing about him. He's been in the league he was in the league for at least almost 10 years. And he did have a stint overseas for a while. But anyway, Dominic was out and about, and he went to this restaurant a couple of days ago in Atlanta. So I think somewhere around Buckhead. And it's a little bistro. It's a part of a chain. The name of it, I ain't gonna say it because I don't speak French and I don't want to chop it up with my tongue. And while he was there, he was turned away. He was turned away, and I'm like, what? What? Who turns away a man like Dominique Wilkins? This man is a legend, and this restaurant. I mean, what in the crud? What are you thinking? I mean, who was maitre d' that day? I mean, that person need to lose their job. Like I said, Dominic is a legend. I mean, this guy, I used to remember you would have the All-Star game, and he was before Jordan. He was the man who was making slam dunks. I mean, he had the record. I mean, I think he was a slam dunk champion before Michael Jordan took it over, and and he just did so much for this for the sport of basketball, and him and Jordan had that rivalry, especially during the day. But the thing is, this is where I think where I'm gonna have to be the bad guy at. He's not as relevant compared to Michael Jordan. Now we all know Air Jordan. He's really was a person that really got more attention in the sport of basketball. He is the one that if you think Michael Jordan, you think of basketball, and Michael is a legend. Now, if Michael went to that restaurant dressed up like this, they wouldn't turn him away. Michael, how some restaurants have a rule where you only have to wear a tie or have like business dress. Michael can come like this. Michael won't get turned away. He probably already got a table. And somebody might have a reservation. They get bumped and say, hey, your reservation gonna be on hold. Or let that be LeBron James, somebody who's just as well known. LeBron James, boom, he would have got a table. Let that been George Clooney. George Clooney dressed up like this. Like I said, the rules would have been bent or broken for George Clooney. Or, Idris Elba. Most definitely, the rules were not applied to him. Hell, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Arnold, Arnold coming in with a tank top or dressed like the Terminator. Shit, think about it. Oprah Winfrey, she be wearing a potato sack. It's Oprah Winfrey. She's a billionaire. She'd probably buy that restaurant. I remember one of my favorite movies is Batman Begins, and the scene where Carmine Falcone is sitting in front of Bruce Wayne and telling him, everybody knows you're the Prince of Gotham. You got to go 1,000 miles somewhere for people not to know you. And the thing is that depending on who's working that place, Dominique, even though he might be known by certain people, he's not known by a lot of people. Like I said, Joe Small like me, if I saw Dominique Wilkins, I'll be like, oh my God. I'll be like in shock and awe because I know him. Because, my age, I'm I'm in my 40s. I grew up in the good part of the 80s and 90s. Watch this man playing basketball. But a lot of people now don't really know him. He's not as well known. He's not as established. He's not as a top-notch businessman compared to others. And like this, like most restaurants, like the places like the franchise places like McDonald's or Taco Bell or Burger King. General rule is no shirt, no shoes, no service, and that's how it is sometimes. That's just the rule of it. But rules are made to be broken. But the best advice here to Dominique: be like Magic Johnson. You have a name. People know who you are. Establish your own business. Don't go to a business where they don't cater to you. Like this. You should do like Magic has his movie theaters. He has his other businesses. Even though your name is not as big, you still have enough power and push. You should have your own restaurant. If you want to do meetings and stuff like that, let's go to my place. We can sit there, we can talk, we can do things up. I don't go no place where, when we walk through the door, we see you. Oh, Mr. Wilkins. Hey, we got your place set up. Yeah. You have people sitting there say, hey, I got a reservation. Who are you? This is Dominique Wilkins. This man is a legend. Especially in Atlanta. Like I said again, he has to go maybe 1,000 miles someplace when no one not know him. And that's the truth of it. But that's in Atlanta. And I don't know, it said that the restaurant has changed the rules because of this. But at the same time like this, as a successful, well-known legend in that area, you should have your own restaurant, your own business. You shouldn't have to go to somebody else. If you got to do meetings, you say, hey, let's go to my place. I don't go service at anybody else's place. I go to mine, where anytime I walk in the door, everything's set for me. Everything's ready. You get to do that. I think a lot of black celebrities, if you have the success and you have, like I say, you have the name recognition, he probably can go any bank and get a loan. Just by his name alone, and just start his own business, have his own restaurant. You don't have to cater to these other restaurants. You don't need to worry about those change the rules. Say, hey, even say, hey, Mr. Wilkins, we apologize. That's cool. That means I don't have to come here. That's what he needs to do. I really respect Dominique Wilkins. And he's a great legend, a great man. But this is a situation here where he should just said, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna fret. I'm not gonna cry and cry. It wasn't so much as racism as much as was status, who you are in this world. And if people don't know who you are, they're not gonna cater to you as much as anybody else. Well, if like I said, much respect to the human highlight reel. This is your man all over at George Page. Don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm out.